So as a general update, um, some of the things we kind of talked about or that I mentioned in the announcement is that we really had some core functionality on the platform that needed to improve, and we had a ton of great feedback from our traders and investors and people in our network just using the platform that it wasn't up to par. And as builders in a new intent-based system, that comes with advantages and challenges. And so the advantages is everything that we all know to be true, which is we get access to centralized exchange of liquidity on chain. That's really a big problem that we're solving. We have all the competition that Ren's mentioned that's going to bring fees down and introduce new products. So there's really a lot of great things about the system, but one of the cons is that the UX is kind of lagging behind competition, and so we recognize that need to refine the trade experience and have taken a bit of a step back this summer from user acquisition and marketing to focus on that. And I like to think that it's us taking a step backward to later take two steps forward, which is kind of where we're headed into Q4. And timing wise, it looked to be okay. Like the summer is usually pretty slow period, and obviously the markets haven't been too great. So I think it was a good time for us to just kind of like pull back a bit and work on improving these things. But with that comes good communication. So our community and everybody knows what's happening. So that's what we're really trying to do with these town halls and some of the messaging. So yeah, like Ren's already touched on a lot of these, but we do have, I would say, 80% of everything that we had hoped for out already. And we're just coming up on the final few things, which with Sim v0.83 going out over the weekend, we can now kind of finalize. So those things are instant open. So we already have instant close as of v2.1. Now we're working on instant open with the solver partners. That's going to be a big one. And what you can expect on that is, pretty similar to the instant close, where you would open your trade, it would actually get filled within seconds, potentially sub-second, right? And it would take maybe a second or two to propagate on chain still as we wait for the settlement. But that's, order of magnitude improvement over current times. So that was a really big pain point for traders was, it's just slow and clunky. So we're going to eliminate at least a big part of that with that feature. Next is the new force close mechanism. That was another, really big issue for traders was, sometimes the solver would be unresponsive and they just couldn't get out of their trade because there were certain price conditions that needed to be met. And obviously that's unacceptable for traders of any size if they can't exit the position that they want to when they're in a loss. So that was really the biggest upgrade from v0.83 that we're now integrating. And we mentioned this in a previous update, but not on the town hall. We did roll out a force close bot as well. So actually, any users that have a close that's, let's call it stuck, we have a bot that's monitoring the status of all the close requests, and it will automatically force close positions once it hits that criteria, which is like a time threshold. So those two things combined should kind of give traders the reassurance that they can exit the trade at any time, just improve system robustness. Instant fund transfer between sub accounts. So obviously we have a withdraw timer. That was another thing that users kind of don't like. Maybe they're not used to that. There's good reasons for it to be in place, and those reasons aren't going away right now. But what we're able to do is just make it so you can move funds between sub accounts really easy, and that opens the door for also isolated positions from our side. So that's something we'll be working on kind of in the near future. That's going to be a big feature. And then account-based stop loss. So basically, this is a way to set your stop loss on an account wide basis. So obviously with cross margin, it's hard to set, if you have multiple positions open, it's hard to set one stop loss. Because if the price of your other positions change, right, you could still get liquidated. And I think that was a pain point for users. And obviously with the way the system works, you lose your entire account balance, right, when you're liquidated. And I think that's causing some user attrition where, users that do get liquidated don't come back. So really think that feature will help, um, along with the high leverage quiz that we pushed out. So like I said, we're about 80% through this. Hopefully in the next, 3-4 weeks, we can wrap up the remaining features and then kind of move on into the next phase, which is, heavy marketing again and user acquisition and showing everyone kind of the new and improved platform.
Definitely. I mean, why not? Why stop there? It's definitely the next thing we want to really focus on here on this town hall is more of that marketing and user acquisition that Levi just mentioned. So I think it's pretty clear that we have just been, I mean, not necessarily quiet. It's not like we ever left. We've just been building a lot behind the scenes to make sure that the platform is where it needs to be. It's obviously important for us to um, draw in a lot of high quality traders that want to trade on IntentX, whether or not it's incentives based or not, simply just because it's the best place to trade on chain. And obviously, we all believe that IntentX is the best place to trade on chain. Of course, there is heavy competition in the perp market space, so we wanted to make sure that we were working on some key things, key features to go out, so we could actually market this as well and draw users in and not make sure that they stay there, whether or not they get liquidated, whether or not something is going on, because we're still the biggest in terms of pairs, and this is only going to grow as we draw in more solvers. With instant open and close, it's going to be extremely similar to how you trade on the centralized exchange. And then as well, we still have the IntentX fee rebates, so we do have the incentives going for us as well. But we don't want to get drawn into this game of incentive hopping. And obviously, we touched on this in the last town hall. We've been using our MMT grants for mental blitz and also for the fee rebates in MMT. But now we're trying to sort of make a change and make a bigger impact. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing with the Trading Olympics. So it's something that Levi touched on a little bit in his announcement as well. And I guess this space is also there to talk a little bit more about what the Trading Olympics are and what our big marketing push is going to be for Q4. Timing wise, I would say it's definitely perfect. Obviously, Levi mentioned that the summer is not the best place for crypto. Everybody's out there touching grass. We didn't have a lot of grass to touch, but now that Q4 is around the corner, obviously everybody knows that Q4 is arguably the biggest period in crypto, and it's where most of the gains are made. So this is the perfect time for us to have our product in a state where it's so much better than what it's been before, and really push it out with the Trading Olympics that are coming in, and draw in the people, draw in the traders, and make sure that we're making a killing in Q4 in terms of volume, in terms of getting in new users. And yeah, I don't know, Lev, if you want to touch a little bit more on the Trading Olympics just from a platform perspective, and then I'll later explain a little bit more in terms of what we're going to be doing for the marketing around it.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it personally. I think it's going to be a fun event. We've partnered with a few, I guess, protocols in our network with mm, a few people in our network, so they'll be supporting it. We have a lot of buy-in on an ecosystem level, and ultimately, yeah, everyone's just had a really good time building this and conceptualizing it, and we have a lot of fun new ideas. So yeah, I think it's going to be just a great event for everyone to take part in, earn rewards, spread the word. It'll help a lot bring eyeballs to IntentX, to bring traders to us. And again, the goal is, I have really high conviction in what we're building in terms of, a long-term vision. And I think our time to shine is like very near. This is our moment to show everyone, I guess, the full potential of our platform. In terms of details, I don't know, Renz, if you want to dive
How,
into
how
that a bit.
much how much
I'll
can we
leave it to you.
share? That's the question.
Share. Yeah, we'll share a little bit, not everything, but we could share a bit about our branding and all of that.
Yeah,
Would be cool.
so we'll keep the rewards a little bit secret for now. All we can say on the rewards level is that's going to be bigger than everything we've ever done, and in terms of a trading competition, it's definitely something worth fighting over. I guess I'll just dive a little bit into the branding and into the specifics how the competition is going to work. So as Levi showcased with that amazing graphic, is that we're branding it the Trading Olympics, and obviously we might be a little bit late since the Olympics are already over, but it just seemed like a good thing to tie it into, and this is how we're seeing it. We're seeing it as a big competition that's going on for a period of time, so it's obviously going to fill the whole of Q4. It's not just a one-time trading competition that lasts for a couple of weeks or a month. It's gonna be a prolonged event with big rewards for every single part of the competition. So obviously the goal here is to first of all have some fun with it, and that's what we did with the branding itself. I'm really proud of what we built, and it's taken some time from a design aspect, but we really wanted to tie it into sort of the ancient Greek sort of atmosphere. And I mean, something we've seen a lot of Greek stuff happening in crypto, but it's always very hyper realistic. It's very new, and we just wanted to keep it down to the basis of the original Olympics. So there's a lot of Easter eggs, there's a lot of fun, and yeah, it's just the Trading Olympics. We have bonus medals as well. And just to outline a little bit what the competition is about, we're dividing it over 12 weeks of competition. And first of all, we're going to get started with the top P&L percent competition. Obviously, this is P&L percent based rather than top P&L dollar value. And this is just for everyone to have some fun with trading. Obviously, we're a trading platform, and we want to give everybody the chance to win some very nice rewards. And we know that a lot of trading competitions happen based on volume. That's something that we aren't necessarily, we don't really want to do that. We want to have some fun with it. So we're just going to be focusing on P&L percent and P&L value. So it's going to be 1 week and 2 week sprints. So we're going to have a full month of just P&L percent, and following that we're going to have 2 months of P&L value, which is going to be 2 weeks each. And like I said, we're going to have a lot of fun with it. There's a lot of fun branding. We'll have another Galaxy campaign surrounding it as well, and it's just a good time for the community to come together and win some rewards, whether you're a professional trader, whether you're just there to help out on the social front, and obviously want to push the word out for IntentX. As most of you here who actually are raiders have seen, we've given out some additional INTX that came as a surprise to most of you, and I'm very happy to see that. But you shouldn't be surprised, because I think we definitely want to make sure that you feel appreciated in supporting this community. It's in crypto, it's very difficult to have some loyalty, and we're very grateful for everybody who's been loyal. So um, we've paid out some INTX for the Raiders, and we're definitely not going to stop doing that. I'm sorry for everybody who's in the top 10 now, but you're going to have to earn it again, since we are going to be resetting all of the leaderboards for the new push, which is going to come in Q4. However, the rewards might be some better rewards than what you've seen come from over this summer. So yeah, another fun thing about the Trading Olympics is that we're gonna introduce bonus medals. So even if you're not a big winner in any of the competitions, this is we're gonna award some bonus medals to traders who win a specific medal over the course of the whole competition. So whether doesn't matter in which you participate, if you win the medal, you win the medal. And there's going to be obviously MMT prizes and INTX prizes as well, and perhaps some more prizes which we'll discuss later on. Obviously, Levi mentioned that we have ecosystem-wide participation, so you can guess what that's about if you want. So yeah, obviously the main goal for this is user acquisition, like I mentioned before. And what user acquisition does is more traders doing higher volumes, or obviously leads to more fees for INTX, and that's something that we're all very excited about, to see those fees come in, and then obviously all rewarded to the traders. In terms of how staking so far has gone, is we're very close to hitting 1 million INTX already being bought back and redistributed to stakers. So we've bought back more. Some of it has gone to P&L, and obviously the super large percentage has gone to you as a staker. And actually, a fun fact is, I mean, Levy posted about it on his Twitter, is that we've essentially bought back already 5% of the whole circulating supply, and we've redistributed it back to all of our stakers. And I mean, obviously, we're very excited to see this number go up again. And I want to also touch a little bit on a small discussion that Levy and I had in terms of obviously the fees. So as most of you know, we've switched from a USDT distribution to the buyback and redistribute, and this has been very good received, and obviously we've seen some other players in the space do the same thing. It's just what works better in the current market, but it's definitely not something that will work as well always. So we were exploring a more dynamic option, and Levy, I would definitely say, like, can you talk a little bit more about that? Like, obviously, it's still a work in progress, and it was just a discussion, but it's something we definitely want to have the community involved in.
Yeah. Well, the token's definitely very important to the platform. Obviously, like 85% of our revenues are going towards the token. So we kind of have two distinct products at IntentX. One is, the trading platform, which we focus on most of the time, but we also have the token, and it's not underlooked, but obviously one comes before the other. So our main priority is getting the trading platform up, running, with large volumes, generating a large revenue, because that really then supports and gives value to the token. So I guess I'll mention that first of all, and then second of all, when it comes to the token, there's always going to be a debate or discourse between buyback and burn, buyback and distribute. Just straight up stablecoin distributions. That's kind of conversation, as long as I've been in DeFi, has been had many times over. And I think there's pros and cons to all of them, that they're all valid in whatever combinations. But what we've seen recently is, uh, you know, Gains Network, GNS, and also GMX both went to a buyback and redistribute model. And I think the consensus at this time is, while market-wide liquidity is low, and kind of participants in DeFi are a lot more mature and knowledgeable and experienced than they were maybe in 2021. Actually, supporting and capturing value in the token through price matters a lot more. Uh, you know, Everybody's kind of been in these forums where you have 900% APR, but the token price goes down 99%, and it doesn't matter in the end, anyways, right? And I think that's what the market's telling us, is like APR doesn't matter as much as the actual token uh, price itself. So the move to buybacks and redistributes helps support the token price, but it also is very effective in, let's say, more bearish market conditions, like right now when we feel our token is undervalued, and that's because we get to buy more INTX for every dollar of revenue, right? So you can imagine, if our token price right now is 15 and we use $1 of revenue to buy that back, and then the token price goes to 45, well, now that $1 of revenue is $3 of value, right? That we've bought back. So through that, Ren's mentioned we've already bought back over 5% of the circulating supply, which is quite significant for the first 3 months. And it's working really well to kind of compound positions. And INTX is non-inflationary, so there's like this max cap supply. So every additional INTX that is accumulated kind of goes towards increasing your share of the protocol revenues. And my idea for bringing back the USDT distributions is essentially, when the market's low, I think the buybacks make a lot of sense. They help provide confidence to the market, right? They help support the token price. They are actually good value when the price is low, and it allows people to accumulate and kind of compound their position. But the inverse is also kind of true when the market's hot, right? And the token price is really high. The buybacks can dissipate value. And again, the inverse is true. If if you do $1 of buybacks, at a high price and then it goes down 90%, well, now your buyback, you've dissipated 90% of that value. So yeah, I think a dynamic system would be interesting, and this is something that needs a lot more research, but it would essentially use some type of moving average to determine whether the price is above or below mean. If it's below, then we do buybacks. If it's above, we would distribute the USDT. And I think that actually worked quite well because I think when the market's hot, right, you can imagine that our token price will be the highest um, when it correlates with the most number of actual revenue earned. There's probably like a very close correlation to that. So with this, we can actually distribute when revenues are really high, we can actually distribute that to the stakers. When revenues are kind of lower and we're slower, then we can actually use that to support the fundamentals of the INTX token. That's high level. It's something that definitely we'll source more feedback on, and we'll do some more research. But I think that's something that I'd like to champion and at least propose to the community in the near future.
Yeah, it's a super interesting discussion, and like Levi said, we definitely want to talk about it with you guys. And if you already have some questions on it or some feedback right now, definitely just drop a comment in the chat, and we can obviously discuss it here. Either way, it's pretty obvious that we've been very hard at work, and we're trying to make it as much of a success as possible in trying to innovate. Obviously, we've been innovating with a lot of different systems. Obviously, the INTX system that we have is already innovative enough by itself, but it doesn't it's never enough, right? So we're trying to figure out some other ways to innovate even more. And what Levi said in terms of the DeFi space maturing as a whole, I feel is definitely very valid. I mean, I've been in DeFi ever since it existed, and people just don't really care anymore in terms of APR. Like it can be 100% APR, it can be 200% or 500%. It doesn't really prove as much anymore, and I feel like a lot of people actually value a 30% APR more because they see it as more realistic than a 500% APR. While back in the day, if I saw a farm that had 1000% APR, I would jump right in it and I would try to milk it for as much as I could and then leave again. But those DeFi summer days are sadly, I mean, over for now. Who knows what's gonna come? What's gonna come next? Everything up until now is just meme coins. So we definitely didn't have the DeFi summer that we did in previous years. Anyway, we're building here for the long term, and we're very confident in the long term as multiple solvers come on, as we bring on more pairs. Obviously, we've been talking about a new solver coming on from Bybit, and this is essentially gonna. Obviously, it will take some time for a solver to be integrated completely, but they're starting up soon, and once they're more and more on board, we'll have like. Obviously, Bybit has a lot of pairs and has a lot of pairs that Binance, for example, doesn't have, and this is going to be the same for any solver that tries to bring something new. It's a way for us to capture more value, to offer more than we already offer. And as the platform improves, I really don't see why anybody would trade in a different place if they're a professional trader. And obviously, what we've seen on the platform so far is that sometimes you have a trader come in who does like 60, 70 million volume a day. If we can capture a lot more of those, then it's a very bright future for IntentX and obviously for all of the stakers involved as well. So yeah, I think that's the main things that we obviously wanted to discuss today. I definitely want to ask the community to. I hope that the community is gonna get out of the touching grass and is ready for a banging Q4. We definitely appreciate all of the support that you've given us so far ever since joining the project and going through TG with us. And we're I think we've built something beautiful here, and we're definitely not stopping, and we want to make sure that everybody here is happy to be here and supports us in any way. So, in terms of the Trading Olympics, what that means is obviously always appreciate any type of social support, whether it's as a raider or just posting something yourself. If you know anyone who is a good trader, or you're in any trading communities, feel free to obviously, first of all, like reach out to me or reach out to them yourself. You can always share your referral link, which gives you 25% of their INTX rewards. Um, so yeah, I think that's the main thing that we wanted to talk about, and we just appreciate your support. And if there's any questions now, feel free to drop them in the comments, or if you wanna hop on stage, maybe minor, you you wanna drop on, or once again we have, let me see, every single town hall we have a very with the new type trader who wants to jump on. So let's have you on here again.
Awesome. Can you guys hear me this time?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah. Yeah. Last time, my mic was just having so many issues, but glad it's all addressed now. Once again, thanks for having me on, and also thanks again for this amazing platform. I'm curious to see, or I guess not, or yeah, I guess I'm curious, but I know you guys mention or say the phrase, Amazon and perps trading. I'm wondering if we could even set our sites even higher to be like the Amazon or just DeFi overall, as in maybe with the INTX platform. I've noticed like on the website, you have trade, you could have swap, your dashboard, market screener, but could we have another tab where you can now go to lending if you want and potentially partner with some of these DeFi lending protocols that are on the Mantle ecosystem. So now I don't have to have all these multiple different protocol websites. I could just do everything from the INTX platform. Just curious to hear y'all's thoughts on that. Thank you.
That's a good question. I mean, once in a while, people will be like, "Oh, like, would you guys do some type of like trading bot? Would you do some, kind of like some type of like deck screener tool?" Or, um, I think, our at least where we're at right now, we just have to be focused, by the nature of our development stage on the perps. Um, so I guess that's a starting point. Is we're definitely conscious of like expanding the scope too large to then, um, lose focus on what really matters, which is perps. Perps is still like one. It's actually the biggest business I would say in crypto, um, and two, it's kind of the untapped market on chain. So there's no winners yet. So that's still kind of the prize we're after. I think once we get to that point, we can look to expand, right? And similar to Amazon, right? They started with kind of like an online bookstore, and then they actually expanded their products, and then they got into AWS and Prime and all this stuff. So I think in the future it's an interesting discussion, and we can really leverage, like, once we build that sticky user base and brand, we can leverage it into other products, and we already have a few in mind that are more related to derivative side, which just don't exist yet on chain. But that could include like lending and borrowing markets. So that's, I guess, what I'll say on that. We haven't seen all that much use on swaps. So we introduced swaps on Base through Orb's Perpetual Hub. Also, we haven't seen that much volume and use there, and I think that just speaks to you know our brand power right now. While we're small, it's just focused on perps exclusively, so people don't really come to us to do swaps. Um, so yeah, our efforts are kind of like set on that right now.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, definitely makes sense. Definitely want to focus all attention on being the best at one thing right now, then look at more opportunities later in the future. And my other question for the Trading Olympics, you guys also, like, for the rewards, is it just going to be mainly money based, or we have like maybe some shirts, whoever is the best winner, like hats or anything like that, or if there's any general merchandise we can buy that has IntentX on it?
Good question. I think we've talked a lot about this, but at the end of the day, we didn't go for real world merch. And I like the idea, like poker sets, hats and stuff. But the problem is users would have to dox themselves, right, to kind of claim these rewards. We'd have to ship it. And we just couldn't really rationalize a way that makes sense for a DeFi platform. But it's an interesting idea. I guess if that's something that the community does want, then it's something we can arrange, maybe through like a Galaxy campaign or something, maybe outside of the Trading Olympics, just for those that you know do want to like dox themselves for that product.
It's definitely something fun.
But obviously, we do it through a third party, and
Yeah, or we can even do it at the next event where we're at. definitely wanna get some merch for that.
Yeah.
Then we can just meet in person
Yeah,
and
I
give it
think
to you
we'll
there.
yeah, we'll be doing also in the future a few kind of conferences. So we we've done some, but not really formally like held an event. So I think as we grow and continue to grow, that's something we'll be doing more and more of. And yeah, I think it'd be a fun way to engage with users, and we could do some giveaways through that.
Yeah, speaking of conferences, you guys going to be at Token 2049 here in September?
Some of our team will be there, but we're not hosting any events there as a protocol. But it's something that we'll look to do more of, I guess, with our partners, and we've already sort of discussed that. Is actually doing some speaking engagements, doing some side events and stuff like that.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks again, guys. Great town hall, and I'll step down if anybody else wants to come up and speak. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you again.
Yep, that's great questions.
Is there anybody else who wants to jump on and get personal?
I guess in the meanwhile, I'll add on the laser like focus on perps. I think it's really important because I see a lot of our I'll say competitors kind of losing focus, right? Like people are building their own L1s, people are building prediction markets, people they're building everything except like perps. And what's interesting is on-chain perps is it's still just a tiny fraction of centralized exchange volume. So I think they're completely missing kind of like the big prize. And part of that I think is because they're kind of chasing short-term incentives, like they're chasing, let's say, hype or speculation, um, or maybe they just hit a limit with the kind of like the base infrastructure they're using. So if you're an order book exchange, um, it's actually really hard to kind of get liquidity and users, and maybe they're just kind of do other things to fill the time in between. But I think it's a losing strategy. So yeah, I'm really confident in what we're building, and yeah, I think all the work will pay off.
Yeah, I mean, also if you look at centralized exchanges and you look at just the sheer volume that they're doing over there, there's so much competition in the perp space, but still with all of the competition and all of the trading that's going on here, it's a couple percent of what centralized exchanges are actually doing. So I definitely agree. Like team wide, we just want to focus on perps, and we want to make sure that, I mean, if we're the platform that's capturing, let's say even like 10%, which would be a big amount looking at what's currently there, that will mean so much for IntentX. That will mean so much for the perp space and in general. There's just a lot of value to be taken in a sense, and we want to be the platform that doesn't lose focus and make sure that we get there first. We're on a good track to get there, but obviously things take time, and especially in crypto, it doesn't happen too fast. Obviously, you can chase the short-term things. Like we could build a intent-based prediction market, which will be good for the U.S. elections, for example. But after that, who knows what's going to happen to it? I don't think it's a viable long-term strategy at the moment. So we definitely wanna be the main platform for perps everywhere, and that's where our focus is. So yeah, is there any other questions from you guys? Just if you don't want to hop on, you can always ask them in the chat. If you just want to give a nice compliment, that's also okay. We don't even get a compliment. Well, guys, if there's not any other questions, I think it was once again a very productive town hall. I think we're gonna be doing some more of these as we're like at least more frequent during the Trading Olympics. Obviously, a lot of spaces will be involved with it. We're gonna do a lot with our partners, and also just as IntentX itself, we want to make this a well documented event, so to say. And yeah, next time we meet in October, hopefully we'll have some more news in terms of actual timelines for the Trading Olympics, and when you guys can get started chasing those #1 medals.
Yeah. Also, reminder: we have a space with orbs tomorrow if anyone would like to attend. So Perps Hub is kind of the second solver to be integrated. So we want to do a little meet the solver segment with them, just to kind of expose their side. They've been building a lot. And there's a lot that happens on the back end. So I think that's interesting for the people kind of into the tech, let's say, and to see a little bit behind the scenes what we're working towards. It's definitely exciting from all aspects, and that's why we tried to do some spaces with Sim, uh, do these town halls, obviously, to show what we're building, and yeah, we'll try to showcase some of our solver partners as well. It's really a team effort, but yeah, everyone's really aligned on this. It's pretty exciting.
Should be a good space tomorrow. So hopefully I'll see all of you there tomorrow as well. It's 1 hour earlier than the town hall today, so I don't know what time zone you're in, but that makes it easier. So yeah, I guess thanks everyone for joining once again, and I see that Spalding, you gave a compliment. Thank you. You just gave it in general chat. I didn't see it. Appreciate it. Perfect. Most under the radar team. I mean, I would agree. Obviously, I might be a little bit biased, but whatever's coming will come.
Yeah, I think we'll be on the radar with the trading comps, so
We better be.
Won't be for much longer.
Definitely. It's gonna be good. All right. Oh, I see Steph is typing again. I don't know if he has another question, so I'll just wait. Oh, we have an. You want to come on again? New type trader. You can go on just one more time. There you go.
Oh yeah, sorry. Last question, I promise. With this trading Olympics too, do you guys also plan to maybe have like special trading cards for it? I know because I love the Pepe meme trading cards. I don't know if you guys will add like maybe a special edition one for the Olympics.
Ooh, what a great and perfect question. I didn't wanna come with it myself. Just want to keep it a surprise. But now that you mention it, yes, we're gonna have special trade cards for all of the positions that you're making during the time of the training competition, and also we're gonna have competition cards, which is something that's also gonna be a lot of fun. So obviously after the end of each sort of each competition, so whether it's the P&L percent or P&L, you'll have a tailor-made, handmade sort of competition card, so to say. So this is the card that's going to showcase your position that you ended up in the trading competitions with. It's going to showcase your P&L, your P&L percent, and obviously if you won, how much you won of certain amount that we're not gonna disclose yet. So we're gonna do a lot of fun, and there's actually an Easter egg in here because all of the different memes and all of the different Pepes are gonna be special Olympic made. So we can't wait to share them because they really look awesome. Like,
well, I'll give a teaser if that's okay. I think I could share.
Give a teaser, please.
Share one of them. Right. The people demand it. So the
people demand it.
This is one. Yeah, this is one of the I guess position share cards. Where, like I mentioned, we have a lot of ecosystem buy-in, and we're featuring, some of our partners. So this is a Sim Pepe, and a lot of the models are actually modeled after kind of like Olympic moments. So yeah, pretty exciting. We have some. I'll share just one more. We've
share number
we've
9.
really had a lot of fun. We've really had a lot of fun with kind of like the branding and design around it. So
this one, I love this one.
Yeah, the pole vaulter with the green candle.
Yeah.
So.
And I shared the one with Sim and us just because it's a team effort.
Yeah.
These are amazing.
So
I mean, it showcased a little bit more about the branding that we're going after. I hope you guys think it looks as awesome as we do. I think our design team has really stepped up and made something awesome. Does this satisfy your question, Mr. New Type Trader?
Yes, sir. Those look fire. I love it. I love it. Keep it up, guys.
Thank you. I'm glad you guys are excited. Awesome. It's the best way to end, I think. They still got some alpha out of us.
Yeah, well, these are pretty fun to share,
Yeah.
and yeah, we're all really hyped on the team to push this out, and like we said, it's gonna be a lot of fun. We've invested a lot on all levels, and that's gonna be great. So I guess I'll be wrapping up. Thanks everyone for attending, and we'll see you at the next one.
Thanks everyone. Talk to you later. Bye bye.
Yeah, bye.